Hello, lovely people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and this is Evolve Chit. It's my little corner of the world where I like to talk about spirituality, metaphysical stuff, universal laws, and psychology. So it's a Sunday morning, and I'm just having a cup of tea and hanging out for a little bit before I have to get my day started here. And I have some, when I have ideas for YouTube videos, I write them down on a whiteboard I have in my house. And I have a few up there, and one of them is a topic I wanted to kind of start to explore today. And that is this idea that our twin flame is really just a past life. And uh, I really don't know a ton on this. I haven't formulated like a big theory on it just yet. It's still kind of fresh. But I wanted to record this video because I've been thinking about it, and I'm kind of curious to see if anyone comments on this, if they see a similar pattern as well. So Kurt from the New World All-Star YouTube channel, I guess over the last few months, he's been talking about this concept of twin flames being past life, or our past lives, or one of our past lives. I don't know how to say it other than that. So, and I've had this idea kind of early on in after I met my twin, and early on in our relationship, our connection. I had a similar kind of feeling, but I didn't think about past lives. I was just like, I feel like I'm about 10 years ahead of schedule of where this guy is. That's how I felt, based on like in our conversations or shared experiences or things that he was experiencing at the time. And I didn't think anything about it. And then, fast forward, like maybe that was like 2 years ago. And then fast forward to like maybe like 6 months ago, I had a similar thought. And it was after a conversation and spending some time with my twin. And we were talking about some things going on in our lives. And I was like, man, that just like something he was sharing. I was like, man, that just sounds so familiar. That's kind of weird. I didn't say it to him, but I was thinking it. I'm like, well, he asked me my opinion on how I would handle something. And I was like, well, that sounds like something I did like when I was around, whatever. So I gave him my opinion on it based on what I had experienced. So, and then shortly thereafter, I was thinking about like, I wonder if like he's living my past life, like what I had just experienced. And then like a day later, Kurt comes out with a video on this topic, and I was like, oh my God, I was just thinking about this. So I don't know if I'm framing it right or saying it right, but here are some things that are parallels between me and my twin that were going on. So just different things that happened in childhood at the same age, certain phrases that were said to him during certain age ranges that were said to me, things that we were choosing in our teen years. Like we both had the same vision of dropping out of school and getting into a band. Like, and I know that sounds silly, but like the way it was like formulated in our then teenage minds were like mirrored. It was really weird. I even was looking back on some old poetry books. I was writing poems about this, about these like dual lives. And I wasn't even tuned into that term at that time. I was probably in my early 20s, and I wrote a couple of poems about these topics. But I don't use that terminology, but it's kind of that symbolism, that there's like a dual reality or a dual existence going on. So, and then even the types of relationships and the periods of time in which we were in like serious adult relationships, even though he's about 9 or 10 years younger than me. So really interesting. And it just made me wonder, like, and it isn't so much like wonder, but it's just one of those things that makes you realize and think about how interconnected we all really are, and how that, bubbles up and figures into our, you know, close relationship dynamics, our relationship dynamics and interactions with people in our friend base and our communities and at work. So like our immediate, world, and then how that resonates out to, globally, ultimately, with so many people walking on this earth. So think about the level of awareness that you have now as a result of wherever you may be on your journey. You're realizing that there's something going on within you and that there's something greater at work. And what is that? I don't know, but things that I believe that are in alignment with my values are around personal like sovereignty, taking responsibility for my stuff, aligning with, what feels good and right for me in terms of, what I do in my everyday life, but also what am I doing to give back in my community and to help those, like how can I be of service to others? And I feel like that, this is what it's all about. At least this is how I feel. So I realize that when you look at all of these things that we hear about on, if you're consuming Twin Flames content, that we hear about this from different channels and coaches and gurus and guides and so on. We talk about, what's this journey about, balancing the energy, getting into alignment, understanding, what we're here for. We hear that term mission. Well, how do we do all of this? Well, we get out of our heads, we get into soul. Well, what's that like? Well, it's aligning with who you are and looking at what's coloring or affecting how you see yourself in the world and how you see the world treats you. So, my belief is that, once you have this kind of awareness, like it doesn't matter, like, like I was saying earlier about like if we were being cringy or if we were being this or if we were being that, that doesn't matter. It's like, where are we showing up right now? And what does that look like? And how do we continue to move forward in ways where it's like, people mess up. And sometimes people really mess up because we don't know their experiences. And that brings me to like one of my favorite words in the dictionary, and that's sonder, Sonder. And it's really, it's having that empathy and compassion that, for all the stuff that we're going through as individuals, so is everyone else. And we don't know what, battles they're fighting or things that they're experiencing. And that's okay. We don't need to know every little detail, but what we can do is have that empathy and awareness that everyone's going through that. So, and these are things that I've always been aware of, but once I, started to see where I might have been having like some energy leaks or some judgments or things like that, that's when I realized I was like, what, there are some places where I need to, kind of tighten things up. I can see where some, unchecked thought patterns or even unconscious energetic stuff. So going back to the real value and understanding how we connect with that energy we feel in our energy centers and our body. There's such great, like I say, early warning devices, because it just allows you to tap into it. If unconsciously, we'll connect a thought to that and an emotion to that feeling, because we're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling something. This must be bad. What is it? And then you may unconsciously just flip a switch and a narrative plays out when you're feeling something in your gut. So, and that is like, kind of coloring our energy. So it can, be something vibrant and keeping it in a higher vibration, or it could be dulled and in a lower vibe. So, so spending this time in some stillness is really beneficial, so you can connect with those feelings in a way that is not affected by a situation or a person, because, we're looking for a reason. Our minds are looking for a reason to understand why we're feeling something. And when we're in stillness, we're able to connect to what's going on within us to be like, okay, this is just residual gunk usually. So of course you want to make sure there's nothing like physically wrong with you while you might be feeling something somewhere. So once you, eliminated that, and you can see it's just energetics, and it's like, it's almost like impulse sometimes because of our programming and our belief system. So when we feel something in our gut, we look to our external surroundings to see like, well, what's going on? And then our mind tries to seek out like a reason for it, when usually there's no reason. But our mind will cling to a narrative and be like, well, I'm stressed out because my house is a mess. My house is a little unorganized right now. And I look around at it and it's like less than desirable. It gave me a little bit of a twinge, but I was like, no, this is just, I had a busy day yesterday and I'll put that stuff away today. Or even if I put it away tomorrow, it's okay. But it's just those things that come up for you based on who you are and your experiences and your perceptions and your view of reality. And then you put your, the icing on that cake, if you will. And then that fuels your emotions, which fuels your thoughts, which then creates your vibe or how you're interacting in the 3D world. So when going back to this whole like twin flames and past life thing, when I started kind of aligning with this theory, like, could this really be a past life? And it gave me more empathy for that dynamic, the energy between me and my twin with our connection and our relationship. And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with whatever this is. And however we go down this road here without having a desire to put any kind of like need on it to validate me in some way. And when I did that, that's when it changed. So it's pretty cool to see how our view of what relationships are, or how people and things or situations are supposed to show up for us based on our view of them, or our belief about how that's all supposed to happen for us. I realized it was a lot of those expectations and judgments that were keeping me in unhealthy situations. And it was all colored by my trauma. So, and I can see this in my twin as well. And when I collapse kind of the gunky stuff and I'm just like, that's just my shit. That's not his. Moving on. All right, what do I need to do for me? Gonna go spend some time, in meditation, playing my guitar, hanging out with friends, going for a walk, working on things to, better my life and things that are important to me, like advance my career or some of my personal pursuits, or share this stuff with you guys. I love talking about it. So do the same. Go out there and live your best life. Go out there and live your best life. And that's, when I look back on all of the guidance and everything that, if you're consuming like Twin Flames content, or any kind of content, like spiritual awakening or spiritual journey content, it's really about going and finding yourself and connecting with who you are. And if, and we'll see evidence of these things, whether it's, your twin or somebody that you desire to be with, or a type of relationship you want to be in, or the kinds of things that you want to experience in your life. Let go of that stuff and just show up and have experiences and do things that, improve you, improve the community that you live in, and improve the world. So to me, that's the mission stuff. And now for you, it's unlocking, what's your part in this? What makes your heart sing? What gets you into soul? What does that look like? And we're all different. We all have different gifts and things that we've come into this life to lend to our generation and to this experience that we're having. So that's what we're here to do. And how do we do it more harmoniously? And that's the getting into alignment stuff. That's the getting into soul stuff. That's what I believe. And that's how I'm choosing to live my life. And when I do that, I see more of what aligns with that, because it's where I'm in. It's the space that I'm in. And it's not perfect every day. I'm not going to, blow sunshine up anybody's ass, including my own. I'm realistic. And sometimes stuff is crazy. But I know I have myself. And I've also noticed, as I continue to step into this authenticity, my connections, my relationships, my friendships, all of it are so much better and more meaningful. So it was really interesting to see and think that, could my twin be living, my past life? My life, because I feel like I'm at like a little bit ahead of him in some things, like age-wise. I mean, obviously because I'm older, but even just in experiences and things that we talk about are topics that I'm very readily able to give him advice on if he asks for that, because of what my experiences were too. So I'm curious to know if anyone else has had any epiphanies like that, or could draw parallels with their person or any people in their lives, to think that, that your twin is living your past life. So I don't know. This was a weird video, but I wanted to talk about that because I thought it was pretty cool. So, well, I just want to remind you that I have a lot of resources out on my website, evolvedchit.com. So go check that out. And also another big reminder that you are loved, you are amazing, you are necessary, and you are really freaking needed right now. So step into your power. And until next time, I'm sending you lots of love and good vibes for your journey. Bye.